Hi, your crafters. Amy here with amyswares, and I have some Shimmer Powder Sorcery to share with you. This is a brand new stencil from the January release. I do have pixie spray on it. I have a few colors of Nouveau Shimmer Powders. I have Maroon Spark, Fantail Firecracker, and Meteorite Shower. I'm showing you that because that's my first time putting those together, and it is such a great combo. Here's a photo of the finished card, but do stick around to the end and I will share a bonus card with you as well. So I'm using pixie spray in this case, not only because it's a delicate stencil, but because of this technique. This is the Fancy Heart Frame stencil. This is a brand new one from A Colorful Life Designs. It's part of the January release. It's amazing. There's loads of new stencils you want to check out. And if you do shop, be sure to use my coupon AmyFan10 and save on your complete order. Now, I like to use the brayer to really stick it down. I'm actually working on a piece of watercolor paper. It's Canson Watercolor XL, so it's not expensive. You don't need really expensive watercolor to do this technique. It really doesn't make much difference. So use whatever you have. But here I am using this color combination for the first time and I am completely smitten. You'll see throughout this video, I'm shocked at the color separation in the details and the stencils that I use. You'll see what I mean as we go further on, but I'm just so pleased with how these turned out and I absolutely love this color combination. So hopefully I'll remember to use these three together again. But basically what you can see I did is I just tapped the bottle. You don't want to squeeze them. Just tap them and put little clumps of the powder all in the openings of your stencil. You can see I'm coming back and adding more water. I use a little paintbrush if I can't kind of blend out any of the powder. You want to make sure you don't leave any little clumps of powder. You can kind of blend colors together if you want. Try and keep them separated if you want. But again, this is how I do it. I just tap little clumps of the powder, spray it with water, blend it with the brush if I need to, and then just give it a second to kind of soak into the paper, but I don't let it dry completely. You absolutely can, but I have never once done that. I do not have that patience, and it's honestly not necessary. So if you're careful with lifting it up, it's actually already kind of sunk into the watercolor and it should be fine. You can see, look at that separation, the detail from the stencil. Now here I'm kind of working one-handed because I want to use that extra ink that's left over, or extra pigment that's left over on the stencil. So I'm going to grab a paper towel and just kind of press this down. Now this is a monoprint. Obviously it's not going to be as complete of a design, but it's something fun to have. I'll find some way to use that on a future card. But I like to do that usually just to kind of get another fun look with the powder that's left or the ink that's left on the stencil. Now this is heart with options. It shows 4 different hearts. And there is a masking heart for that open one on the bottom left. But this I also use pixie spray, and I have a bigger chunk of the watercolor paper because I want to do all 4 of them. Now this is where my mind was completely blown. My daughter actually gasped and was like, how did you keep all these colors separate? And I don't know if I was just exceptionally lucky. I was kind of deliberate in where I was laying down the color, but I could not believe how separated these lines and the details on these hearts turned out. This red, white, and blue, or red, yellow, and blue combo is one of my favorites. I think it's Solar Flare, Cherry Bomb, and Blue Blitz, I think. It makes such a good rainbow combo. And then I use those with the Meteorite as well. But I couldn't believe how these turned out. I was so excited at how well they stayed separated. Obviously, they're gorgeous when they blend together too. Oh, Violet Brocade, that was another one. That was the purple one in the top left that I used. That's another one of my favorites. So again, I'm just kind of smoothing out any little clumps and trying to clean off my brush so I didn't kind of blend the colors where I didn't want it. I was using some water just to try and clean it off because I didn't have like an actual like jar of water or anything to clean my brush. But yeah, so pleased with how this turned out. So I'm going to set these aside. Once I lift this up, I'll show you the amazing detail. Again, I cannot believe the color separation. These just turned out so great. You'll see even more when they dry. They're still really quite wet here. The bottom left one ended up getting so blue and green it looks almost like an earth, so I thought that was cool. I might use it for something like that. But here they're very wet, and now here they're completely dry, so you can see the shimmer. Now if you've used these before, you know you can get some transfer on your hand. So if you were to rub your finger across it, you would get some of that mica shimmer on your finger. You could coat it with some sort of fixative or something like that, but I've literally never done that, and it has not stopped me from doing this technique or using these products on my cards. So just bear that in mind. Here I'm using my favorite fussy cutting scissors, and I'm just fussy cutting these 4 hearts out. Like I said, do stick around. I'll show you a bonus card at the end where I use some of that. But here I decided to cut down this panel with a stitched edge rectangle die. This is from Paper Rose. It's one of my favorites. It's a nested one. So it is cutting it down slightly smaller than A2 size. So there is a white border. And I did use that tear tape just to really hold it down, because, you know, it's thicker watercolor paper and sometimes it can get a little bit warped when you add water. So I wanted to use an adhesive that was really strong. Now here I'm flipping through my sentiment book to figure out how I want to finish the card. As usual, I kind of am thinking about the sentiment after the fact, so I'm not really sure the direction I'm going to go. So I'm flipping through. This is my storage solution. I have all these die cut sentiments ready to go. I have this wish die cut. I think it's from PhotoPlay. Sadly, I know that one is disconnected. It's disconnected. It's discontinued. I think my brain is disconnected. I need more coffee. Anyway, it is discontinued. However, you know, use whatever you have. I just wanted something that kind of fit within that space. And I felt like it was such a special card that I wanted to make it a birthday card. So usually if I have a background or something that I'm really obsessed with, I'm probably going to turn it into a birthday card, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like those are the most special. But here I'm going to shop my blingage. I have the bling from A Colorful Life Designs. I'm kind of looking in the neutrals, trying to match the gold of the sentiment, because I want it to kind of continue that into the design. I did end up going with Crystal Metallic Safari, and I have this foiled Wishing You a Beautiful Day, I think is what it says. This is from Tailored Expressions. It's one of those where you buy, I think it's, what is that called? The black ink toner. It's got toner ink, and then you can foil it. And that just happened to be on my desk, actually. It was perfect. It had fallen out from a different project, and I had it on my desk, and I was like, hey, that's kind of perfect. It matched the gold and everything perfectly. So I'm just going to put these down in a smattering on the front of the card. And like I said, do stick around. I'm going to show you a bonus card in just a moment here, and I'll tell you how I made that as well. But I'm going to put this down with the liquid glue and my jewel picker tool to kind of add that little bit of extra shimmer and to kind of tie in the gold. Here I'm showing you my storage solution. I have my backgrounds in that chocolate box, and I'm going to put these extra hearts that I didn't use. This is my critter book, critter and flowers and random whatnots, but here's the finished card. And I did use an extra strip. I didn't want it to go to waste on the inside of the card, just to kind of continue the design. And here is the bonus card. So stoked with how this turned out. So I have It's Your Special Day, another birthday card. I used this natural wicker pattern 3D embossing. I used the same watercolor paper. I don't normally emboss that. 365 Days More Fabulous, it says. I think that's a Ellen Hudson set. But I will link everything in the video description box below. Be sure to check out the rest of the January release. Use my coupon, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.